In every Nigerian home, there are secrets, there are dreams, and sometimes there are decisions that change the course of generations. This is the story of a mother, her two sons, and a blessing that cost them everything. Mama Titi had two sons, Tunde the firstborn, who is rugged, outspoken, always covered in engine grease from his mechanic shop, and Demola, the quiet one, the thinker, fresh out of NYSC with a file of applications and a heart full of hope. One morning, the smell of amala filled the family compound in Ibadan. Mama Titi called out from the kitchen, her voice warm and loud. The boys came running, with Tunde laughing, making his usual jokes about the stew reaching the junction, and Demola quietly thanking her. They laughed, they ate, but deep inside, Mama Titi's heart was torn, because she knew her husband, Papa Titi, had made up his mind to bless Tunde. But in her heart, she believed the blessing belonged to Demola. That night, Papa Titi called her into their room. He was old, frail, his eyes clouded by time. He lay on the iron bed, wrapped in his Ankara cloth, his voice barely above a whisper. He told her the time had come. Before death called him, he must pass on the family blessing, and by tradition, it must go to Tunde, the firstborn. Mama Titi hesitated. She reminded him how Demola was the one who stayed with him, helped with his medicine, read scriptures at his bedside, but Papa Titi was firm. It was not about love, it was about tradition, he said. Mama Titi said nothing more, but in her silence, a plan began to form. Before the cock crowed the next morning, she woke up her second son, Demola. She told him everything, how his father had planned to bless Tunde that morning, but how she believed, no, she knew that blessing belonged to him. Demola was shocked, conflicted. He didn't want to lie. He didn't want to deceive his father, but yet he didn't want to disobey his mother. Mama Titi was desperate. She told him that sometimes God's plan looks like confusion at first. She made him wear Tunde's old mechanic cloth, smeared grease on his hands, and led him into Papa Titi's room. The room was quiet. The morning light barely touched the old curtains. Papa Titi asked who was there. Demola spoke up, disguising his voice and gathering every ounce of courage. He said, "It's me, Tunde." Papa Titi smiled and asked him to come close. At this point, Demola almost peed in his pants and was at the verge of saying something like, "Ah, Papa, have mercy on me. I didn't mean to try to deceive you. It was Mama, the love of your life, that made me do this." Okay. In real life, Tunde didn't reveal himself. He made sure to stick to his mother's instruction as he came close to Papa. And right there, the old man laid hands on the wrong son and spoke a blessing that had passed through generations. Outside the door, Mama Titi stood, her hands clasped in prayer, her heart pounding. Later that afternoon, the real Tunde returned. He came back with a bright smile. But the neighbor called him and told him, "Tunde, the family blessing has already been given." He stormed into the house, demanding answers. His mother tried to explain. She said, "Your father wasn't feeling so well and we thought he wouldn't make it through the day." But the truth hit him like a slap. He turned to Demola, but when his brother couldn't meet his eyes, Tunde knew. Betrayal. From the one who shed his blood and the woman who gave him life. The compound fell silent, the kind of silence that hangs heavy like harmattan dust. In that moment, the Tunde they all knew changed. But this was only the beginning. The blessing had already been given, but at what cost? Tunde hurried into his father's room to demand for his blessing. He cried, telling his father all that happened. His father grieved in his heart as he made Tunde understand that there wasn't any blessing left for him again. Tunde felt as if a knife cut through his heart. 2 days later, Papa Titi passed on. The blessing had been given, but peace had packed its load and left the compound. Tunde stopped talking to his brother Demola. He barely came home. Even his laughter at the workshop dulled, replaced by long, quiet stares. A friend once asked him if he was okay, and all Tunde said was, "My mother, my own brother." A year passed. Demola had gotten a good job. He now worked with a senator in Abuja. On the outside, things looked perfect and bright. Mama Titi walked proudly beside him at church Thanksgiving. But nothing was ever truly perfect. That Sunday, as the choir sang and the people danced, Tunde walked in. He didn't smile, he just stood at the back of the church, arms crossed. After the service, Demola walked up to him. He told him how he never meant to take what was his and apologized continuously. Tunde was quiet for a moment. Then he replied, "Maybe it wasn't mine to begin with." You see, forgiveness doesn't always come fast, but sometimes it comes like a gentle breeze from after a long dry season. Just like Jacob and Esau, the two brothers walked different paths, but the blessing, the betrayal, the healing, it walked with them. In every Nigerian home, there is a story, and this was one of them.